People ask me all the time, what's your favorite sport? And I can never give a clear response to that question because it is just so open ended. But when I'm asked the question, what is your favorite league out of the four major leagues? It is a little bit easier to consider my thoughts on that question. So I kind of want to talk about why the NBA has kind of emerged as my favorite league over the past couple of years based on my experiences with the other three leagues, how that relates to the NBA, and why the NBA, in my opinion, is such a great league. So, obviously in America, the two most popular leagues right now is kind of NBA and NFL. I mean, NFL is always going to be the biggest. That's kind of, the way it is. The NFL generates so much money. And don't get me wrong, I love the NFL, but I also think there is a lot of bad things that the NFL has entailed into it. I mean, for one, teams relocate a lot. And why, that's no like coincidence or anything. It's the league is kind of corrupt with stadiums. Stadiums in this league always, require public funding in a lot of circumstances. The Raiders one and other leagues, I mean, more like hockey and NBA, the stadiums are a lot cheaper, so that doesn't require it. Baseball obviously kind of has that issue too, but not to that extent of the NFL. And the NFL just kind of, ethically, in my opinion, there's a lot of shady stuff that goes on with the NFL. I love the NFL, like watching it, don't get me wrong, but, league wise, it has its problems. But then, the NBA has emerged very popular in the past couple of years just because of, its excitement. And that kind of brings me to why I like it the most. The NBA is the most exciting sport to watch. And that is my opinion for sure. I bet a lot of people think football, and I agree. But here's the thing. NBA, every team has an opportunity to be good. And why is that? Because it doesn't take as much money, for one, as much star power and, overall consistency to be a winning team. In the NFL, you have to pretty much be on top of your game every single week to win a Super Bowl. And if not every single week, a majority of the weeks. In the NBA, you need maybe one good player and you can be in playoff contention, which I think is exciting. And it also gives fans something to look forward to. I mean, there's plenty of bad teams right now that if they just got one good piece, they might be a playoff, if not finals contender. And that's something I like about the NBA. There's just a lot of opportunity to be better. NFL and MLB and even NHL, it takes years and years to become popular. So, yeah, let's look at the other leagues, though. MLB. Why is MLB not my favorite league? Well, there's no salary cap, there's no salary floor, and I really hope that changes. So it makes there way too much margin in terms of the rich teams and the cheap teams. And so teams like the A's are at the bottom, and then the Yankees are at the top, just feasting on these really, really good players, which makes the league really, really boring to watch, in my opinion, because you get the same amount of teams in the conference or in the playoffs and like in their own like division of money bracket, if you will. Like they're just in their own league, and playoffs is almost the same teams every year because of that. And it's just kind of disappointing to see really rich teams just kind of benefit off these cheaper teams, and it makes the league less fun. MLB has kind of become one of my least favorite sports, just in terms of reputation, because just the way it is, because they don't really value the fan enjoyment as much as they do other leagues. NHL, it's not that I don't like hockey, it's just NHL isn't very popular in California, so it's not marketed well, and that causes, kind of alienation from fans to the team. I love hockey. I mean, I've been a fan of it for a long, long time, and that's never going to change probably, but, it's not marketed well, so I don't have as much excitement around hockey as much as I do other sports like the NBA. But the thing with the NBA that stands out to me is just the overall experience of the NBA is just great. I mean, every stadium in the NBA right now is nice. I don't think there's one bad stadium in the NBA, and that's kind of due to the fact that it's more feasible to build an NBA stadium, and that causes a lot more fan enjoyment, international enjoyment, because people actually will travel to the United States to watch it. And like I said, it's just overall enjoyment of it. Like for me, I like seeing like a lot of teams be competitive, and like other leagues, MLB, that's not the case at all, because you only have a certain handful of teams that are in contention because they're, you know, at the top of the salary payroll, right? NBA, it's like you have a set, you know, cap and whatnot. But, you know, the one argument I do hear a lot is like, what about super teams? You don't have super teams in NFL. You do, like, look at the Warriors, right? A couple years ago, they had what was considered a super team, and it wasn't fair. It's fair for sure. I mean, I don't think, you know, if you're worried about a team in the NBA, such as the Warriors, when they had Kevin Durant, Thompson, Curry, Draymond, etc. I mean, if you're worried about that, that's not really a big concern, because the thing with the NBA is there's so much talent. There's only 2 rounds in the NBA draft. So the best talent is being handed to these teams. Super teams, in my opinion, don't really exist, because, you know, a team can be really, really good, but at the end of the day, there's always enough good players to go around, right? In the NBA, you're only going to have like 15 guys on a roster, right? The Warriors lost the year they were considered the super team in the finals, albeit they had injuries. But I think, you know, the NBA, there's a lot of widespread talent, you know. You can think of the worst team in the league, the Houston Rockets, for example. Even they have a good player in John Wall. The Pelicans, Zion Williamson. You know, plenty of teams have at least one good player. And I think it kind of diversifies the amount of talent that's spread apart, and opposed to, you know, one team with like all this good talent that's just, you know, winning it every year. I.e., you know, the New England Patriots of the past decade and whatnot. So, you know, I just think the NBA, you know, I don't know if basketball is my favorite sport, but I think the NBA is the most exciting league to watch right now. And that fluctuates a lot. You know, MLB has been ahead of it at times. It changes all the time. I mean, it's usually just NFL at the top. But I think right now, the NBA has kind of, you know, caught my bid in its you know, popularity, because I'm just a big fan of the fact that the overall watching on TV experience, watching in person experience is superior, because there's a lot more excitement, a fast-paced game, and I just think it's a great sport to watch. So let me know your guys' thoughts. This is definitely a controversial topic, so I'll see you guys later, and yeah, peace out.